Well, good morning and welcome to yet another episode of Sunday Story, episode 44. How do I know it's episode 44? Well, when Ian sends me his videos each and every week, he labels them, but also because we are in the final story of the Jesus Storybook Bible. If we're going to find where we are today, we've got to move through all the stories of Moses and Joseph, all the stories about David, all the stories about God's people waiting for the rescuer to come, the stories about Jesus and what he did and who he spoke to, the stories about Jesus dying, the stories about Jesus' coming back to life, the stories about the Holy Spirit coming on the church, the story that we looked at last week, which was Paul being changed from someone who hated Jesus to someone who loved him and spoke about him with everyone, all the way to the very, very last story, a story called A Dream of Heaven. Now, I want you guys to pay particular attention this morning and to stick around right until the end, because I'm going to be telling you about a competition we're having ready for next week's Sunday Story when we look at an entirely new book. But before we get there, let me hand over to Ian and Bethan and someone who looks an awful lot like me for this final story, A Dream of Heaven. Enjoy!
A Dream of Heaven. John was one of Jesus' helpers. He was old now and living on an island, which might sound nice, except it was a prison. The leaders put him there to stop him from talking about Jesus. But I'm sure you don't think a little thing like being in a cell, in a prison, on an island, in the middle of an ocean could stop God's plan, do you?
One morning, Jesus appeared right there in John's cell. Jesus' eyes were bright, shining like the sun. "I am going to show you a secret, John," Jesus said, "about when I come back." His voice was like the sound of rushing waters. "Write down what you see so God's children can read it and wait with happy excitement."
Then Jesus gave John a beautiful dream. Except John was wide awake and what he saw was real, and one day it would all come true.
"I see a throne, and on the throne is a king, and the king is Jesus. All around the throne people are bowing down. They are giving him their treasures."
There are loud cheers and clapping, and bright laughter like 1,000 waterfalls, and everyone bursts out singing a new song.
"This is our king, the Lamb who died, so we don't have to, our rescuer. All honour and glory forever and ever. And every creature, everywhere, in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea joins in, and then from all around a wide, immense, beautiful silence. And I see Satan, God's horrible enemy, thrown down, defeated.
I see a sparkling city shimmering in the sky, glittering, glowing, coming down from heaven and from the sky. Heaven is coming down to earth. God's city is beautiful. Walls of topaz, jasper, sapphire, wide streets paved with gold, gleaming pearl gates that are never locked shut. Where's the sun? Where's the moon? They aren't needed anymore. God is all the light people need. No more darkness, no more night.
And the king says, "Look, God and his children are together again. No more running away or hiding. No more crying or being lonely or afraid. No more being sick or dying, because all those things are gone. Yes, they're gone forever. Everything sad has come untrue. And see, I have wiped away every tear from every eye. And then a deep, beautiful voice that sounds like thunder in the sky says, "Look, I am making everything new."
It's hard to squeeze all John saw into words and fit it onto a page and cram it into a book. All the words on all the pages of all the books in the world would never be enough. "I am the beginning," Jesus said, "and the ending." One day, John knew, heaven would come down and mend God's broken world and make it our true, perfect home once again.
And he knew in some mysterious way that would be hard to explain that everything was going to be more wonderful for once having been so sad. And he knew then that the ending of the story was going to be so great it would make all the sadness and tears and everything seem like just a shadow that is chased away by the morning sun.
"I'm on my way," said Jesus. "I'll be there soon." John came to the end of his book, but he didn't write the end because, of course, that's how stories finish. And this one's not over yet. So instead he wrote, "Come quickly, Jesus," which perhaps is really just another way of saying, "To be continued."
Well, that's it. Not only another story from the Jesus Storybook Bible in the bag, done and dusted, but in fact the entire book. You can put that away. Or can you? Well, next week we're going to be starting a diary of a disciple, Luke's story, which is going through Luke's gospel, but also has an activity book. If you want to nag your parents or your grandparents, your aunts or uncles, somebody to get you that, by all means do it. I'm sure you will enjoy completing that. But here's the competition and why we can't quite put the Jesus Storybook Bible down. I've got a copy of each to give away as a prize to one lucky viewer. Now here's what you've got to do. You've got to make your way through the Jesus Storybook Bible, if you have one, or go back through all the Sunday stories that we've done over the last year. Choose your favourite story and then make a craft based on that story. Something creative, something which helps share and remind other people about the story. It could be a Lego craft, it could be a drawing craft, it could be a craft using toilet roll, you could have a giant box that you've painted like the inside of a prison cell. It's entirely up to you. And I want you to do that craft and I want you to send it to me, Sammy Davis, at ammanfordchurch.com before Wednesday. On Wednesday I'm going to look through everyone who has sent it to me and I'm going to pick one winner and then get them a copy of A Diary of a Disciple and the activity book so that they're ready to go when we start off that new book next week. Okay? So maybe that's too much to do now before Sunday school, but you can at least start thinking, what have we been learning? Which is the favourite story? Which of Ian or Bethan or my crafts have you enjoyed the most over the last 44 weeks? Off you go. Make one, send it in, and you could be in with a chance of winning. Okay, well, I don't think I've got anything else to say other than I'm looking forward to your competition entries, and I shall see you next week.